Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo Channel. I'm going to do a message for my winner bright and early in the morning, 8:03. The dot. I'm 3 minutes late, but I normally don't get up this early to do a live stream because I work all over the world. And I'm up at like till 3, 4 in the morning. So we're actually off to a good start because it's only 3 minutes after. All right. For those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Laura. And as I just said, I'm doing a message for my winner. But if you landed on this, you're going to resonate with it because that's how energy works. You're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. You get what you need, not what you want, per se. All right. Now, for those of you also that are new, know that I like to look at everything. I don't just look at what your person did do, what they're going to do, the other people, what they're going to do. I look at your spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes to help you navigate your relationship better. Because a lot of times you're dealing with karmics. Every relationship actually is karmic. It gives you an opportunity to learn something. It's just we want to avoid negative karmic consequences. I know, right, Bear? But it's okay. It's like it got my ass out of bed, and that's what I wanted. That's why I agreed to it. It's like sometimes we need to put things in place in order, for to make it a reality. You're faking it till you make it. Look at my hair. Like, I didn't care. I put on my little Frida dress, and I said, "Here we go." Right? All right. So again, we like to look at the karmics because, like I said, you have more of an opportunity to shape shift your situation. Since there's many different realities that play out at one time, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be with a karmic. Just a lot of times we play it wrong. This isn't so you can play it right to get to be with the person. It's actually, like I said, to avoid negative karmic consequences because karmic's being connected to a karmic, past life karmic. There's a lot of times severe consequences. There are always these people that cheat or lie, manipulate, and before you know it, you're in like competition with somebody else that you didn't even volunteer to be in, or you're not focusing on work because you're so emotionally caught up. So, like I said, we want to be able to shape shift the energy. All right. Now, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box, including the word of the video. Thank you, Ed Spare. I'm a little congested in the morning. I'm like, oh, I had a sneeze fest. All right. I have my ginger, cinnamon, and turmeric tea with apple cider vinegar. It tastes nasty, but it's really good to alkalinize your blood if you're someone that struggles with weight, if you're someone that has a very acidity constitution. And you know this because you have arthritis, you have brain fog, you have other digestion issues. That's what you should have on an empty stomach. See, I don't have those problems anymore because that's what I do, but my dad had cancer 9 times. Sick goes to sick. My father had cancer 9 times. My mother was as mentally sick as my father was physically sick. Like goes to like. So, your body is your mind's faithful servant. So if you're someone that has ever been in a karmic connection, you definitely want to drink that tea because you know that you were living in survival mode. And survival mode means acidity constitution. We can heal ourselves. So let's see what the word of the day is. I'm going to take it from my deck, the Psychic Soul Healer Oracle System. 68 cards in the deck titled under Transpersonal Psychology. I like to layer with these cards. Comes with a workbook. Honor. All right, let's go a little bit deep because I'm already thinking to myself, you're in connection with someone that They didn't honor you. They know that honor for you is like a really big thing, a really big thing. And I feel like in the beginning, this person just was toying, but somewhere along the line, you got them triggered. And you got them triggered because you're really standing in your truth. Like, this isn't right how you're treating me. This is what I'm expecting, and it triggered the person. Does the person have feelings? Yes, the person has feelings, but it's not about that. It's about control. Like when you stood in your power, what you were doing is you're saying, like, you have boundaries. You care about how you're going to be treated. You want this person to treat you a certain way, and you need it to look a certain way too. And that could be because of your job, it's friends, whatever. You just come to a place in your life. But the underlining energy is honor. Like, meaning either come into my life and give me what I deserve, or get out. Don't be in my life. This is where you're at. And this person knows it. They know it. But I feel like they were playing like cat and mouse, and then they took it to the extreme. Like somewhere along the line, they got really pissed off, and things became very negative. But I believe that this person has a lot of negative experiences around relationships, and not that that matters to you, because it shouldn't matter. However, if a person hasn't healed, you're going to get the backlash. And what this energy tells me, like, that things go negative because you're going to stand your ground. Like, you're not joking around. It's like, oh, well, now you're negative. Like, I feel like this person at first got triggered and thought you were negative. You were giving this person a hard time, but really they were the person that was being negative. So I feel like you're in separation from a person that has a lot of hostility, because they know that this is a spiritual connection, but they kept it really, like, the relationship imbalanced for a really long time. And there's a part of this person, and I feel like somebody has two, like, again, two people, but one person is like, it doesn't really feel like they can fix the connection, because they know that you're not going to give them any leeway. You've come to a place where you're like, it's either going to be this way or it's not going to be any way at all, because it was affecting your life. This person was hoping that you would get caught up in the nostalgia, but the disappointment actually overrode the nostalgia, and I feel like put you in a place of disgust, because this person acted like they didn't care. They focused more on that than they actually did on the relationship. And that's how you know they need healing. So let's see exactly what they did and what they're going to do. And understand, even if the relationship isn't going to work out, it doesn't mean that you can't, that it doesn't mean that you're not going to find love. What it means is that you attracted the person into your life to learn, to heal. And you need to figure out what those things are, because you don't want to keep attracting people that are really stubborn, that are emotionally unintelligent, a person that acts like they don't care and pushes it to the extreme where you're like disgusted. Well, of course they can feel that. And you need to understand, like, why did I attract a person that's so, like, hard-headed, that doesn't budge, that cares more about being right than actually being in the relationship? And that's what I feel like. It just feel like the person took it to the extreme. I always like to know what the person is doing. Again, right now. Hi, Diane. We want to see what they're doing, if they're doing anything. They have a lot of anxiety, like I said, because they already know that things are not going the way that they thought. I feel like this person used to be able to throw their little temper tantrums and get what they want. And you're not, like, falling for that, because this person's lazy. You really want to know. Now, you could get triggered by that, or you could also say they're stuck and stupid. Because when a person has a lot of anxiety and you're holding your ground and they're not used to that because they're used to being able to throw a little temper tantrum, now they have to approach you differently. And the thing is, there is nothing else on the menu here except for come in correct or don't come in at all. So this person knows that. And that could be because you were on, you were off, you were on, you were off. It could be because they gave you a lot of mixed messages. It could also be because it's the type of connection that it is. Or you just come to a place where you're like, I know what I want and I'm deserving of what I want. And so I just feel like it triggers this person almost like, why should I have to do it? Like they're lazy. Normally they don't put in any effort. Like I said, they tend to play games. So, but they are sad if you want to know, because there's a part of them that's been confronted with having to do something different, having to change. And, why change if I can just manipulate the situation? Now we have to say, what kind of relationship is this? Because that matters. Is it a soul? What type of soul relationship? What is this person feeling on a deeper level? We can see anything at this point because people tend to, do one thing, but feel another. And then when they have spiritual blockages and baggage, they overcompensate. And that's a second chakra imbalance. It's like they're trying to make you perceive. And in this case, they wanted to make you perceive that they didn't have feelings for you. So clearly, if they're going to need to come back, they would need to be transparent. They would need to be able to do that. So everything that this person didn't want to do, they're going to have to do to fix the relationship. That's the irony. And because you are a soulmate, they're like, they have feelings. They just didn't play their cards right, And you have to say, well, why would they want to play their cards like that? Again, that's the trigger. And we also want to see what they feel. I'm afraid this relationship is too good to be true. And I pull away in fear. So it's like, these soulmate relationships, sometimes it's love. It really is love. Like this person has the deja vus and, you're so easygoing. You don't cause any problems. That this person knows that they cause problems to gain control. It's a way that they get the other person to give. They're lazy. But part of them being lazy is just, I don't really know how to go about this. I don't really feel comfortable in relationships. I don't really feel comfortable in relationships because I don't really feel comfortable in my body. I don't feel comfortable with myself. So I don't really feel comfortable in being transparent. I don't feel comfortable. This is a real second chakra imbalance. And that second chakra imbalance is, I don't really like myself. And that's the emotional center. So you're going to be dealing with a person that's all over the place emotionally, which is going to be really triggering. And you're going to say, I didn't do anything different. No, this person, some days will be triggered and they'll push you away. And other days they'll want you close. It'd be like real narcissistic energy. But do they mean it? No, this person's like afraid, they don't know. And every little thing triggers them. Doesn't matter. You'll get the same exact, manifestation. However, you can play the game differently to help this person heal a little bit more. You are they're in their old patterns again, and they just can't see it. And that's what I'm saying. It's like this is why healing is so imperative. And I feel like this person has baggage from the way that they grew up, not even like just their relationships. The problem is if you grew up in childhood trauma where you were abused, well, if you didn't integrate that spiritual lesson of what it was, and that could be setting boundaries. You might not, as a child, who can set boundaries? No one can set freaking boundaries with a parent that's crazy or a parent that's narcissistic, parent that's mentally sick. You can't do it. But from living in that environment, you form habits and behaviorisms where you didn't speak up in the beginning. You didn't do certain things that you should have done. And it was because you gave the person the benefit of the doubt, which is why this person knows, well, you really have feelings for me, you really care. Like, it's the type of person that you are. I'm struggling with codependency and I'm afraid to let go of my old coping mechanisms. If you want to know what this person is doing, because it's a challenge to be different, it means it requires change. Well, how does this person navigate their life? What we see is that they play a lot of games and codependency. Now, you may not know of that codependency. Codependency can be anything. It could be, it's just escapism. It's that person doesn't feel strong in themselves, as I said. So you're expecting them to be able to be in a relationship. You're like, well, they've been in relationships before, but you didn't know that the person that they were in a relationship with before was doing all the work, and it wasn't a successful relationship. This person still doesn't know how to act. It's like, and they don't know how to figure it out either. This is like, imagine a math problem that, or trying to figure out something like scientifically. And I'm only using these things because it's the opposite side of the brain where you're like really stuck on that math problem. It doesn't, you can look at the math problem every which way and you're like, I don't know. It's like, I never took, calculus. How would I know, what that is? I can look at it all day long. Well, that's how this person feels in the relationship. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what to do. I can do it all day long. They always need people, codependent relationships. They create codependent relationships, but the relationships are obviously not successful. And so this person has commitment issues because the relationships are never successful. So it's like a big loop where it's like it never gets fixed. However, this relationship is like, again, there's a connection. It feels real. But again, it's too good to be true because I don't have those type of relationships. That's this person's core belief. So that's what's running the show. It's not feelings. Now, when you're dealing with a person like this, you'll want to like give and to cater, and you actually have to do the exact opposite. You have to do healing doesn't feel good, especially for someone that's needy. Someone that's codependent is needy. They believe that they need outside things to be safe and comfortable in their body, to be grounded, to feel, like I said, confident. So again, healing doesn't feel good. And this person does have feelings for you. So you have to remove yourself completely. Completely. No talking, know anything, be busy with your life, have a good time in your life. And because we know that this person's not really emotionally intelligent and they're not really going to communicate to you, but we do know that they're going to stalk. So put on a good show, because you have to, healing, as I said, doesn't feel good. So you have to scare the person almost. And that means scare them enough to look at their life. Not to be like, oh, you're going to lose me, but in the fact that you're not going to be in their life, that reality is not an option. They have to look at their life. How did I get this way? Why did that happen? What did I do? Like I said, otherwise they won't really heal. You'll want to give this person, and you might have overgiven this person. You did overgive this person. You had to have. And that's because, they played handicap, they played shy, they played whatever it is, but they're used to playing those games to get. But if you don't make a person give, they don't open up their heart. This person has a closed heart chakra. So you're going to take it like they don't care. They don't do anything. It's not that they don't care. They think that the relationship isn't possible. Like they're looking for a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's like a spiritual block where you look for problems and we see what we look for. It makes us paranoid. It's like, and it's all because they've never healed. But then we can look and say, well, let's look at it from a different perspective, even though we know that they have that, because the issue too is that you're going to see their thoughts don't match up with their actions, and we can actually see how they're sabotaging the connection. And why I say that this is because you always want to be able to avoid any negative karmic consequences. You have to. Hello, noble goddess and Wilson. Will you give me a second chance? Like it's like that you want to know why this person doesn't come towards you, because it's like I don't know whether you're going to give me a second chance or not. You might turn around and be like, go shit in your hat and pull it over your ears. I don't want to ever talk to you ever again. And that this person would be devastated, you know, and they don't show their emotions. So they almost want they want to know for sure. It's insecure. And so this would be annoying to you because you're like, you need to like reassure me. Well, understand you may think that you reassured this person, but the problem with the distortion is this person will give the most minuscule amount and think, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, look at what I did. I like that person's post on Facebook. They know that I like them now. Oh my God, oh my God. Like, and you're like, the fuck? It's like, I don't know. The person, do they like me? Why? Because they like a post on Facebook? That doesn't mean anything. So, the distortion of how much this person actually has to give, you will always feel like there's not enough, and that will make you feel like, what, am I not enough? And so I say that because clearly this is a karmic connection where spirit's saying, yeah, is that the way that it makes you feel? You're like, yeah, look at this fucking person. They give like a breadcrumb and they're acting like it's the biggest thing in the world. But then they're expecting me to like roll out the fucking red carpet for them and show up in like a limo, you know? I mean, it's distorted. And it's distorted because that person has trauma. And so no matter how much you give, it won't really seem like it's enough. And you're going to feel like there's nothing fucking here. Like, there's nothing here. I actually feel like you're nicer to strangers. Like what is that? And they would be because intimacy issues. You would see the real them. Other people would get the mask. And you'd be like, I kind of want the person with the mask. I don't really want this version of you. Because it's again this person that gives so little. But people don't see that. Because what's underneath it, yeah, like you would want reassure, where they're not going to give you any reassurance at all. If anything, they're going to trigger the hell out of you because, you know, no matter how much reassuring you do, it's never going to be enough because that's how it works. The person's codependent. Normally they have people where they talk to and they have friends that they talk to. And I'm not saying that all those friends are like that they're doing anything with, but those friends don't really want to be in that friendship seat. They'd rather be somewhere else. So they create that dynamic also that creates a lot of insecurity and trust issues within the relationship because they're insecure. Yeah, like it's like I'm working up the courage to contact you. And then it's all about the drama, which I feel like they're addicted to that. The root chakra in balance, the adrenals are right there. So what you see is every time this person gets triggered by their self-esteem, they're going to have like addictive behaviors. They're going to have crazy behaviors. And when they don't have it, they're addicted to this, the drama of working up the courage. I don't have the courage, where they might get it and then they sabotage the connection again. It's like, it's not about whether you have feelings for the person. It's about the fact that they don't know how to be in a relationship without you abandoning yourself to comfort them while in return you don't get anything. Yeah, like, I'm afraid of losing you. And so this person already sees that you're like becoming detached, you know? So it's not like they don't care, but what we still see here is a lot of procrastination, a lot of Like, will you give me a second chance? I'm nervous. I'm nervous. And then, I'm going to come to you. And if you tell me no, I'm going to drop dead right there, and I'm working up the courage to do it. And I'm moving as slow as a sloth to do it, where that would be very irritating to you. Like I said, we see that this person has a lot of spiritual issues that would trigger you if you're not strong within yourself. Yeah, because they continue to sabotage the connection. But understand that's the thing. When a person like has major commitment issues, this is what they do. It's like it's not they have commitment issues, but they have love for you. And so they're holding on to two different thought patterns, a cognitive dissonance. So the relationship will be fine, then it's not fine. The relationship's fine, then it's not fine. And you're like, okay, I don't even know what the fuck I did this time. And you didn't do anything. They got triggered. It was something that happened internally. They got a thought, so it becomes very toxic, this intermittent manipulation where this person coming in, they're coming out, they're coming in, they're coming out. And again, they run away to avoid facing their problems. And so, I mean, can you imagine trying to have a conversation with this person or again, trying to actually make the relationship work? They have to heal in order to actually be able to face their problems. Otherwise, when you have a problem, they're going to take it as it's something I did, something I did. You have a problem with me. What did I do? Because they already feel that way about themselves. They're going to be very triggered by it. They're going to, they won't hear what you're really saying. They're hearing through the wound. So being in a connection like that is, and I also feel like the thing is, and I don't want you to be upset, but the thing is that there's also someone that's lingering. There's also someone that's there. So when we see people that, are afraid to face their problems, eventually it creates problems within the relationship. It's just a no-brainer. So the person goes and talks to other people, gives time and energy to other people, which they don't realize that they're creating intimacy, more intimacy with people that they don't want than actually with you, because the second chakra is all about intimacy. So you'll see them be able to give it to insignificant connections, but they can't give it to a person that they really like because they feel that the relationship is too good to be true. So all this unhealed stuff that gets activated when they go back into a relationship. So every little thing is going to, so in order for this person to actually feel strong and confident, they have to talk to other people. Now they may not have feelings for that person, but what they know is the person that they're giving the attention to is growing feelings for them, because who the hell is going to give them attention? Nobody. So then they're kind of put on this pedestal. They're kind of, again, it's all about them. They create that dynamic. Then they can kind of be in a normal relationship, and no one wants a relationship like that because that's really fragmented. The person will compartmentalize. They'll be like, well, for you, I really care about you, but for this person, I'm going to have passion with. I can't have passion with this person because it's too real. It's too in depth. It's like they begin to put people in categories. So what you see is that this person then like can't be committed at all. However, do they think that you're a good person? Yeah, like you inspire them in many ways, because I think that normally this person wouldn't even care about being in a relationship, not being in a relationship. Seems that not being in a relationship is more comfortable for them. I mean, it's not really important, but it is important to look at your triggers, because that at least will tell us what needs to be healed We will see if this person's going to do anything, but really at this point, I wouldn't entertain this because it's not about do they have feelings for you. They have feelings for you. The problem is that their feelings for you are deep and they have a lot of unhealed crap. They're used to navigating their relationship from a very low frequency. Yes, I'll look at the second one after. Um, but like I said, it makes you feel again, can your triggers for this, why I wouldn't entertain it is because it puts you in a place where you really don't have any control because you can't make the person. This is what this person wants you to do. Again, that would reassure them how much you care about them. You can't do that. It's like, so, you know, so what happened is you kind of like detached, where I don't think that this person really thought that that's what you were going to do. So you got triggered by it because, again, you're like, well, if I have no control and you're not giving me any control, I'm going to back away, which is why you, I guess, have a second person that you want me to look at, but know this, and you're not going to like this answer, but we're going to look at anyway. But I need to tell you, when you have somebody on the side, there's a sense of you not trusting either. And you're like, well, I'm not getting anything from either one. And that's the issue. The issue is that it's not about dating, it's about healing your wounds. Because if you attracted a person like this that has feelings but can't even get out of their own way and continues to sabotage themselves, and we're asking about another one, we already know that they're not really giving enough. They're nicer. I feel like they're nicer, but will they give you what you want? Probably not. And I'm going to tell you, because you're still holding on to the energy. The main equation is you. Well, look, but I have to organize the cards a little bit. So just bear with me and we'll look and see what type of relationship that is too. I want to switch the cards a little bit too. I always feel like you should use different cards. It's just organizing everything. Okay. So that's the thing. When you are connected to that energy, the first energy. Oh, that's so horrible when it gets cold. Ugh. That ginger tea concoction. Ugh. Okay. When you're giving like time and energy to somebody that, because you're not getting enough from somebody else, well, it's the same thing. It's like, well, there's a belief that I don't really, it's too hard to like be in a relationship to like find that person. And Spirit says it's really not. It will require you to change though. We're going to look at that whether you want to or not, because in order to shapeshift the energy with any of these people, you would have to do that. You would have to do the recommended thing to heal yourself. And that's how it works, because Spirit says, well, I'm bringing you this person to like show you something, to bring something out with inside you that makes you feel a certain way. And so if you're attracting two people that really aren't giving enough, they're actually wind up taking from you. So it's to change you, which is when you change you change your environment, new things happen, and it changes the energy around. So then you can attract people that align with who you are today, not the wounds of yesterday. Because you're like, I know why I connect to this. This continues to happen. Look at this again, powerless. Like, so now someone that's connected to you that I feel like they do have feelings for you, but you don't really have as much feelings for them as they have for you. And so there's a sense of them being powerless. So I don't feel like they get enough. They feel like they don't get enough. And like maybe like you don't care as much as, you know, I feel like you do. You just like the other person better. It's just that person isn't giving you what you want. The irony is you're kind of doing the same things to this person as that first person is doing to you. And Spirit says, yeah, like almost like you act different too with this person, and I don't think it's like greedy, but where you make sure to take where you have more power in this relationship because this person cares and likes you. They feel a lot more than you like them. That's the feeling there, because like of apathy and powerless. And so again, we see what we wind up attracting to, right? Like a person that, here it is, you like this person, they put you in a place of being powerless, so you're with somebody else and you like them, but you don't like them enough. Meaning, if this first person calls you, you're going to drop that second person like it's hot, is what they feel. Now, you may say, like, I'm not, that person doesn't even know about the first person. Yeah, but they know that you don't have the feelings. So, whether or not you're talking to 10 people, you're talking to one person, you're not talking to anybody, you're not talking to them, you're not giving them what they need. So, we can see that second chakra imbalance where it's like, in order to make the relationship work, you have the second person, and I feel like you could grow that. You could grow it if you wanted to grow it. That's the feeling. We're going to see what they feel, what type of relationship this is, the second relationship. Sometimes I feel like you're speaking to me in my head. At times it triggers me because I wonder how much you can see into me. This person's afraid that you can see, like, that they really do like you. It's like, and also that they're in their healing process. They wouldn't be connected to someone that wasn't giving them as much either if they didn't need their healing. You know, that's how it works. Spirit brings people, and it doesn't matter how many people into your life, but they're gonna be all different fragmentations of your wound, what you need to heal within yourself. Because you'd be like, well, why is this person like this? And of course, I don't like them. And this person that I really like, I feel like they don't. And Spirit says, because it's I really like that person. When we really like someone, people can feel it. And when people don't, they can feel that too. And so it's just, when people don't like, there's always a sense of maybe wanting them to, or just it being more appealing because there's no pressure. I mean, when really there is pressure if you want to be friends with the person, but it's almost like we value more people that don't make it easy. And so, which really is unfortunate, because then we're attracted to people that give us a hard time, like with actually being vulnerable and transparent, which are like the foundations of having a good relationship. I feel like I don't deserve your love. I'm worried you'll leave me when you see who I really am. Of course, this second one is like this. Of course. It's like, well, I'm insecure too. And, you don't really let me get in that close. I have feelings for you, so I care more. But I already feel that you don't really like me as much. And you'll possibly leave me when you really see who I am. So we see two people that you're connected to that feel the same exact way, but their behaviorisms are different. They're sabotaging, but they're different. One isn't going to give anything and they're going to breadcrumb, and the other is going to give, but they don't really feel like they're deserving of you. So they're also going to be a little bit all over the place, just a little bit more needier, I feel like, where you're going to be like, I don't really like that. Like, I don't like either energy. That's what it is. And it's like, why is the energy of everyone that I'm connected to either like that or like that? And spirit says, because you're imbalanced. It's like you need healing. It's like, it doesn't mean that you can't be in a relationship with a type of person like this. It's just bumpy. It's bumpy because you're dealing with other people's baggage. It's like you have to heal. Otherwise, it's going to all be projected back onto you. We must remember that we are gods and goddesses and work to embody that energy. So again, I don't think that this person's saying that. I think that the universe is saying, hey, listen, you guys want to know how to actually be in a good relationship. It's to remember who you are. To be God and to be a goddess, it means that you're love. That's all that you are. In your basic God-given universal energy, you are the sun, the stars, and the moon. You are the universe, and the universe is spirit. That's what the universe is. It's ubiquitous. We don't see it. It's the air that we breathe. The air that we breathe is known as spirit in Greek. Breath is spirit. So it flows through us. It works through us. So to come from the state of knowing who you are, everyone on the table here doesn't really believe that they're deserving. So we're not coming from the right place. Now, I'm not saying that you don't, but you wouldn't be attracting a person like this if that wasn't the case. And you might be like, well, it's unconscious. I don't really realize that I'm doing that. Right. And that's the thing. And the only way that you get that is to invest emotionally in yourself so much. Relationships are something that happen over time too. So when you have hobbies and interests and other things, then you're going to meet people and you can be consistent in seeing the same people. And even if you don't meet someone through a club that you belong to or a hobby or an interest, on the way to that, you might meet somebody on the way back through, you're giving the universe something to work through. I feel like your third eye is not opened. And your third eye isn't open where you're like, I don't see it. And you're never going to see it as long as you don't do healing. And that's not to be mean. Right. Well, that's the thing. As long as everybody on the table in this reading, it doesn't feel like they're deserving. So no one's going to be in a relationship. And it doesn't mean that you don't have feelings. And so, you're like, I do have feelings. I don't really feel like I'm deserving of it. Well, that's exactly how the other two people feel. Just one person is giving a breadcrumb because they're too afraid to get hurt. And the other person is going to be like a dog that is terrified of you leaving them because they don't feel like they're deserving and you don't feel like you're deserving. So that's why I said until you integrate that spiritual lesson, that will continue to play out. And you say, well, what created it? And we look at your inner child wounds in a little while to actually see what created it, not because it's a blame game, because spirit says a lot of times people aren't even aware that that's what they're doing. It's so that you understand the karmic theme that needs to be healed and that you can actually integrate that spiritual lesson. Once you integrate and transmute that energy, you won't. Otherwise, well, that's what it would be. But it's not so you can get back together with this person, because guess what? That person probably hasn't done their healing. It's more or less so that you can completely shape shift your energy and quantum jump into a new reality, because the reality that you keep experiencing is getting people that it just can't give you emotionally, they can't show up for you, and that is keeping you in a place of feeling like I'm not deserving, where spirit says you're loved. So that's technically impossible to not be deserving of the own energy that you're made up of. So that's a fail. And the universe says we don't make broken things, we don't make junk. Everything is exactly the way that it's supposed to be. You're just learning and healing and understanding why that you get people like this is essential, and then you need to embody the new energy, which means do something completely different so you can see yourself different. You can't get better in the same place that you got sick. It's not going to happen like that, and it doesn't automatically happen either. As you begin to change, you're going to attract people that have the same energy at first, because the universe is going to say, I want to see you say no. I want to see you say no. I want to see you like not be with this person. I want to see whether you see the red flags. So that might be. And then the next, you'll get a person that will want to do the work, but they don't know what to do. So you'll have to actually teach them. And the reason why is because Spirit says, how do you think people learn? It's through the act of love. I love this person enough that I'm going to show them, though I'm pissed off that I have to show them. And Spirit says, well, that's where that person's healing needs to come in, because it really shouldn't piss them off, but they haven't. They're like, why do I always get someone that doesn't just know how to do it? And Spirit says, do you know what you really want? Do you know, are you getting what you really want? No, that's why you're the one that needs to teach the person, so that, you become very clear and decisive in what you want. It's not because the person doesn't have feelings, it's because they're not evolved enough. It's like you're taking everything personally, like where, because it feels that way, where Spirit says this is not a personal thing. Like clearing, listen, more chiming in from the universe, not even about either person. Clearing the illusions of the 3D world. Don't take everything at face value. There's a lot more going on spiritually and energetically than you can see. So again, there's things that are happening, and it's for your benefit, for your healing. So when you're in a situation where like, I'm not getting anything from anybody and I'm tired of it, and Spirit says, well, that means you need healing. And the healing is, we first need to look at your inner child, because none of these people are a good fit. However, if you change and embody the new consciousness, would that change the dynamic? Maybe for one, but definitely not for another. And it's not worth it, because again, people are creatures of habit. Whatever you allowed, however you were, like, was imbalanced due to your feelings of unworthiness. And so people are, like I said, well, I'm used to you doing everything. I'm used to you're good at feelings and emotions. You're good at like expressing. You can read my mind. Again, you become expected, because at one time that's who you were. You were the fix it. So to change all of a sudden, like you can't. What changes is that you change by dating a bunch of other people and becoming someone else, so that that person can say, well, I fucked up. It's like, I should have. And Spirit says, because that person is stuck and stupid. It's like, and where they're like, nah, I don't really want to change. So, because healing again doesn't feel good, we have to do what we don't want to do. So we look at your inner child and say, like, what is the karmic cycle? Why does this keep happening? And what can we do to integrate the spiritual lesson and transmute the negative energy? When we are in situations like with people that continually trigger us, make us, like, again, feeling unworthy is triggering. So when we continually feel that, we get angry. What are you going to do with that negative energy, because just because you're not in the relationship, your body is remembered of it. Remember, your body is your mind's faithful servant. So though it's not happening, that core belief is definitely affecting your energy. So we have to, again, always remember to transmute the negative energy, because without it, you can't really heal. You really just can't heal. So let's look and see. Let's see. Shuffle. I feel you are right, but I live and work so hard to heal. No new love ever comes towards me. Well, I feel like the key is to realize you don't have to fully heal in order to like meet somebody. It's more or less you have to change and change again what you're doing at first. And so the first thing first is again the neglect. You were brought up with that energy. And so like you have to reparent yourself. And that's by changing the energy. And so even though you've done the psychological stuff, have you transmuted the energy? Have you gotten a chance to see yourself differently? Spirit says no. And you know why? Because you do work hard, and it's not like you don't like what you do, but I feel like there's no hobbies, there's no passions, there's no what makes you you, Bear. Like when you look in the mirror, like, who am I? It's like I feel like you like business. You like that because it makes you feel um, needed and wanted, and so you do well in that area. However, then it's to say, well, what else can I take my skills to contribute? That's right, I said charity. Can you imagine charity? Because that's the last fucking thing anyone feels like doing when they're looking for love, just for the record. But spirit says the heart's closed. The heart's closed, and there's no vehicle for you to meet anybody that's nice and emotional. So someone that actually is in charity, and again, that actually contributes to on their day off to doing things, you're gonna meet somebody. Spirit says, hey, you're not grounded. Spirit says you're still stuck in that whatever, the neglect that's happened. That's the karmic pattern. You believe that, but you have to reparent yourself, because parents just did the best that they could do. They were just people that were growing up also, and they didn't even have the tools that we had. And they lived through, a lot of different things like depressions, and their parents grew up in wars, and what they were taught. So it's up to us to change, to heal, to actually be our parents, break that karma, to break that generational curse of feeling like I can't have it, because that's really, you want to know where it came from. It came from growing up in that environment of watching it. That's not a good relationship. That's kind of a shitty. I don't want to be in a relationship like that. So it's that was the your learning tool, and then this is what you're producing. So it's like the energetic imprint is that emotion, which is this shit doesn't feel right, and I don't want to get stuck in a bad relationship. And spirit says you're losing yourself, you're going up in your mind again, the scenario of what might happen, what could happen. That's exactly what the first person does. You see what might happen, what could happen, what did happen. And that's sabotaging behavior. So I'm going to do very little. This is where I stay safe. But you're not safe because you wind up losing all the time. And so, because then you seem like you don't really give a shit. And no one wants to be in a relationship with someone that doesn't feel like they give a shit. No one wants to be with needy either. Sitting there like a dog. That's what it is. It's like, again, it's obvious you were raised by a narcissistic alcoholic parents. It's obvious because there's a belief, I can't have it. I can't have it because that's what I grew up in. So it doesn't happen for me. And God says, no, 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 no. That's not possible. You are love. You're just not doing the right thing. You're putting on your pants like a shirt again. You could wear it that way, but you know, that's a reality that's not going to feel good. You have to again create the reality that you want. You're reliving that experience. You need to cut the karmic cycle, and you do that by changing you because you don't have control over anybody else. And it's going to make you feel good, Spirit says, because it's going to give you purpose. At first, you might be like, shit, I got to go do this shit on the weekends. It's like, and then Spirit says, yeah, but there you are at the church bazaar giving out whatever you're giving out. There's a rummage sale. You didn't really want to be there, but guess who comes in? Harry. You couldn't believe Harry came in. Nicest guy. You know, he was selling his hats. You know, he was selling his hats at the, and I just wound up meeting that person. And then I wound up meeting a bunch of other people, and they invite me out every Thursday, and they're really nice people. Oh, and then Joanne, you know, Joanne from the church bazaar, well, she told me about this class, and this person told me about this, and oh, you know, that person's a plumber too, and a good thing they came to my home. You don't have any root chakra. The root chakra is support. Where's your support? Where is like that first, second chakra? Where's the passion? Where's the support? See, first chakra is connection to mother and father, to the earth and to God, and to your physical body. When you don't feel safe, you're up in your head. So you need to train your body and mind to work better together because there's too much anxiety there too. It's like, well, that's unsurety because I know what not getting what I want feels like. So Spirit says you have to change that. And that's by doing yoga, doing breath work, doing weights. That's what I did, weightlifting. It's like I feel like that it makes you stronger, connection to the physical body. It teaches you to connect the breath to your body. And that is what shuts that automatic nervous system off, gets you out of the fight, flight, or freeze so you can be in the present moment. That's number one. Number two, that second chakra, Spirit saying, it's very difficult to go with the flow of life, you know, and the environment. Shit happens unless you have passions. Passion for life. Your choice of focus is your greatest tool to train a person on how you want to be treated. First of all, because you're always going to get people that want to test the waters. So they can test it all they want, but your focus isn't going to be on them 24/7. Otherwise, you don't have any control. And Spirit says, you roll out the red carpet. They didn't earn that red carpet. They didn't. They don't deserve anything. And you shouldn't be telling this person everything about your life either as soon as you meet them. You should just make plans, go and do something, but like, hey, let's do anything from walking on the beach to playing miniature golf. And we can talk about what we're doing, our aspirations, things like that. You don't want to tell people your personals, especially that I had alcoholic parents. You don't, because people have a bad way of treating you the same exact way of how you've been treated. Oh, you're used to it. So never tell anyone. It's like they have to work for that information. They should be in your life for a certain amount of time before they know that. It's like be vague. It's like I said, talk about what you're doing, where you're going, things that you're interested in. And if you can't talk about those things, Spirit's saying, well, that's what we need to start. It's like, because we don't want to tell anybody about our life. Again, why? So that they can use everything that you just told them against you because you don't know who you're dealing with. I know that you do tell everything. That's why Spirit said that. That's why I'm channeling that. Like also because Spirit's like, oh no, like you can't do that. It's like because then you're like, they don't respect me. And it's like, and it's because you're showing how much like love, like that you didn't get the neediness. And it's not that you're not a nice person. You are a nice person. But hey, that did happen, and you're sharing. The Spirit says no. It's like you need to like go down to the church bazaar, like get like volunteer your time, find other places. Again, get yourself a little community. Again, friendship first. Relationships are something that happens over time because trust is acquired over time. So again, we have to start in that thing. Hey, I met so and so because I have a common interest with them. Now we have something to do. So guess what? I'm not focused the whole time on the relationship because I'm insecure, not really that great at feeling comfortable in relationships. So we're focusing on, we're going whitewater rafting, we're going tubing, we're going hiking, we're going, so we're doing something. So the focus is on what we're doing, where we're going. It's not on anything of your life. Yes, because then you're going to feel strong. And then it's like what you're saying is, I like to do things. I like to do things. I'm very busy. I'm interactive in my life. I don't have time for losers. I you have to contribute. It's like I can do things to contribute to my own well-being. I fill my cup up all the way so that it overflows. So you're only getting whatever spills out of my cup. So if you leave tomorrow, I don't give a shit. You know why? Because I'm just going to go back down to the church bazaar next week, and Harry's bringing his brother, and there's other people that are coming. So, and I'm going to wear my best outfit, and I always meet people when I wear my lucky outfit. So, you know, I got something to do. It's like your choice of focus. It's like, and this is how you open up your third eye. I can see how Harry would try and hook me up with his friend. First of all, he tried to hook me up with his brother, and his brother's a weirdo. But it's like I can see because he's always trying to pawn off his friends onto me. I could see that. I could see it because I'm interactive, I'm grounded in it. And then I got divine guidance that one day I actually should stay. I don't know how I knew, but I just knew that I should stay a little bit later at the church bazaar. But didn't you know, Harry's friend is actually good looking. He's not like all the other weirdos that are part of the geek squad. They're this person's actually a surfer. Wouldn't you know it? It's his cousin. We see who got the looks in the family. It definitely wasn't Harry. But, you know, this is how life happens. This is how we're making things happen. You're a part of it. There's a sense of you being disconnected and disconnected because, hey, you were taught to be unseen. You were taught to, like if I want to survive, I'm just not going to create problems. I'm going to be very accommodating. And Spirit says, so you were trained in that environment. So you're rolling out the red carpet to these people? It's like, no. It's like you have to, again, revamp your entire self. And that means, getting a better connection to the physical body so that you can tap into the higher self. The higher self is the God part of self. And you can do that through listening to the Silver Ultra Mind method twice a day. You have to recondition your nervous system. Again, you can't grow up in that environment. Again, where, well, it's felt awkward all the time. You're getting yelled at all the time. It's always your fault when you're being raised by a narcissist. I know I was raised by one. So again, so you have to again do weights. You have to do maybe somatic healing. You have to do things that are gonna like release that energy that's you've been holding on to since childhood. And you can do that. You don't even have to remember everything. You can do through somatic healing, which is just certain stretches and breath work. Again, you may be like, I don't want to do this shit. And the Spirit says, see, you want someone to love you, but you're not even going to love yourself. That's not going to happen then. So again, Spirit says, don't look at it through a negative perspective. When you're raised by a narcissist, we tend to think negatively. And Spirit says, we got to change that thinking. We got to revamp everything because you were raised by people that did the best that they could do with what they had to work with, and they didn't. So we have to redo that. So listening to things like science of the mind, listening to things like the law of attraction and Abraham Hicks and to remind yourself. Then this way, when you get into a negative thought pattern like this fucking shit never fucking happens for me, then you'll be like, well, I just listened to Abraham Hicks like an hour ago, and that's a contradiction to what I just said. So that's not true. And then you can remind yourself by saying a positive affirmation right after to change that energy. It's like recreating a new habit, put stickers up in places like affirmation. I sell Christian affirmation cards. Again, you can use any affirmation card. You can write them out yourself, put it in, remind yourself, because again, you're reconditioning your mind, which will create new neurological pathways. Very important, because no one wants to be with an impulsive and a reactionary person. Oh, I thought that they were doing this. Well, I was raised by a narcissist, so I can't help it. I see what I look for, and it's like I get paranoid. And the spirit says, you don't want that. It's like, again, remember, these were survival mechanisms that you grew up with in childhood. So it's going to be harder for you to have a relationship. Be like, yeah, see, I knew something was fucking off. But spirit says, yeah, but look how good you do in business. Look at how smart you are. Look at that bank account. Look at that. You're like, yeah, but I'm going to be alone. And the spirit says, it's again, you're down on earth to learn. It's a school. It's a school. You were born into family that taught you lessons that you needed to learn. And again, and which was self-worth, which is loving yourself. And it's to pour into yourself now. And you pour into yourself by saying, well, what's missing? Passion. Passion is missing. And so goes up to the second chakra and the emotional center and the nervous system. So that's why that first and second chakra really do work very close together. So that second chakra is your identity. I know you're impulsive and reactionary because of that, because you can't grow up in that environment and not be. It's like it's a survival mechanism. It also means you're very psychic, meaning I just like intuitively know, because hey, you grow up so much with clairsentient, it becomes claircognizance, which is, I don't know how I knew that, I just knew. And it's a survival mechanism. It's how spirit, no, you're not destined to be alone, only if you choose to be. There's many different realities that play out at one time. So again, you have to become yourself. There's a sense of, I can't see. So no matter what somebody tells you, you're not really going to be able to like resonate, because you're like, no, too many times I've lived through this. And spirit says, that's why you have to do something different. It's a faith walk in the beginning, meaning you're not seeing shit. You're just joining these things because you got to do something different. You want to create the support. Spirit says, you have to give me the vehicle to work through. I'm not just going to come through your job or work, because you would never trust them anyway because of the things that have happened. So this starts you on your healing journey. You meet people along the way that are going to emotionally fulfill you, so that when you meet your person, you're not going to be reactionary. You're not going to be. You're going to be a completely different version of yourself, only with all the gifts that you acquired from living in that environment to begin with. So spirit says, no, unless you choose for that. The whole point of doing different things and teaching you is so that you're not alone, only if you don't trust yourself. And that's why you should join my coaching program. I'm going to have a coaching program for $25 a month on Social Goats. And this platform is going to have a lot of other healers and like entrepreneurs of all different kinds, even gamers. It's a combination between Netflix, YouTube, and and Mind Valley. And so it's $25 a month. You get access to my coaching, my Transforming Trauma podcast, and a lot of other things. I'm going to have giveaways, including my cards I'm giving away and prizes. And and just different oracle. The coaching is done with oracle. It's just the way that I'm doing it here. And people, though, can chime in and, be very interactive. I'm going to be on that. I feel like you need to just create awareness. I wanted to create something that was going to be affordable for people, as well as my one-on-one coaching, which is very, very in depth. The only people that are really serious, and that's like, is more expensive. So again, I do have that option because, like I said, it's you're recreating new habits. So you need to be consistent. In my coaching, we do a lot of different healing exercises to actually recondition the nervous system. We do breath work, we do different meditations, we do um, cognitive therapy exercises, we do a lot of different types of exercises. But you learn, you get templates, like, this is what it is in order to learn, in order to be consistent. But you become a new version, a better version of yourself. And that's what life is about. It's about metamorphosing. So you're only alone if you choose not to do anything about it. You're not going to not choose to do something about it. You're going to do something about it, and understand God's plan is better than your own. So you may say, I went down, I just was going to like go down and volunteer at the church bazaar every weekend. Well, wouldn't you know it? When I was down at the bazaar, I met this world speaker, and they happened to like what I was doing with work, and they actually hired me for a job. Now they're flying me to Tahiti. Did you plan any of that? No. Spirit says, I'm going to bring you other things as long as you help yourself. But the fact that you're like, oh, this is all I see. Spirit says, yeah, because you've made your life that way, which from living too safe, because it wasn't safe. But Spirit says, so where is the childhood? Be like childlike. Where is it? Children don't say, oh, it can't happen. They utilize what's in their environment to create themselves. Why aren't you doing that? You're like, because I have a job. Well, what about the other aspects of your life? That's how you meet people. That's how you build connection and heal intimacy. You have an intimacy issue. That's a second chakra imbalance. That's what everyone on the table in this reading had. It's a second chakra imbalance, which is, I feel inadequate. I feel like there's something wrong with me. I feel like the Spirit says that's because of the environments that you lived in. That's not how I made you. It's that you're reliving that. So no, you're not going to be alone. It's again, vulnerability. You weren't allowed to be vulnerable, obviously, but with two narcissist parents, like, it's just not going to be possible. Because if you're vulnerable, well, guess what? That's their issue, not yours. I mean, it's like you're not allowed to have your own feelings or emotions. So no time and attention. Like, again, children need to be poured into. They need to, be taught and encouraged to try different things. That's not the environment you grew up in. It's not a blame game, but Spirit says you weren't allowed to play. Didn't I tell you got to go be like childlike? You got to go out and play. How are you going to find yourself? It's like, hey, I always wanted to do that. Hey, I'm interested in that. Hey, I need to do that. I like that. Now I met my tribe. I'm doing what I love. Spirit says that's what you need to do. Well, that's the thing. But that's why you begin to change. Again, from pouring into yourself. Again, the universe brings you people, situations, and experiences that changes your mind and your heart about how you feel about yourself. But you have to help. And when the student is ready, the teacher appears, which means that if you're getting this reading and you were chosen at this time, that you were ready to hear this information and that you're ready to embody a different consciousness. And that all starts by doing something. And that's what it is. Well, that's the thing that happened. That happens too if you're so worried that your needs aren't going to be met. Know this. When you have that block, you won't get support from the people that you usually would say, well, this person should be the person that gives me support. They're my best friend. They're my mother. They're my father. They're my sister. These people, again, by like in our mind, play a certain role that they should show up for us. When you grow up with narcissistic parents, that doesn't happen. You know who shows up for you? The stranger, the person that you don't know, because it's the universe's way of saying, we already know that no one's there, but you're a little needy. So we actually don't really mind that no one's there right now. And the reason why is because you have to learn to not be needy, because the universe does not bring you things you need, like in a way like, I need that because I can't have it. It's like spirit says, the universe brings you stuff that you need as long as you are helping. And that means to do something different. So you have to say, what do I love? Where do I lose my time, my energy, my focus, my money? Those are your resources. And to go out and play means for you, well, I like business. I like work. I feel safer in that type of environment. And so spirit says, so then you join things like BNI, and you join other social networking to promote your business, to learn. You join public speaking. You do things that are going to improve yourself. I know you're better with strangers because there's no intimacy. You don't know them, so you don't care. And that's why that you would do things that you excel in, that say, this interests me. I like the stock market. This interests me. I like to be busy. And then it's also to do your regular coaching, and then to show up for yourself. But that's really what it is. You have to reparent yourself. And when you give yourself love, it's impossible for you not to attract love eventually, because you're love. As you begin to heal, you see different versions of yourself. It's the people that you don't know that are going to show you this new version of yourself. It's not the people that you got sick around. It's not the people that you've already taught them, that you're not confident with yourself. It's people that you're just doing what you love and what you excel in, and helping out. And whether that's within a charity, within whatever, but this is a grounding issue, that you're disconnected. So the first thing that you have to do is get a better connection to the nervous system and hit that pavement every day. Look on the internet. What's going on my day off? What would I want to do? See what calls you. Let your intuition guide you. And doing the somatic healing, because over time, what you'll see is, oh, I don't really have anxiety about looking to see what's going on in the neighborhood this week. I went by myself, I just saw. And you know what? I wound up meeting people, or I saw this, or I saw you need to see those wins. See, the universe will bring you wins, which is telling you you're on the right path. And those wins come in signs and synchronicities, just so that you know. And since you're very intuitive, because you can't grow up in that environment without being intuitive, you'll feel supported by first God, the universe, and that's first, because that's what we want to get strong first, in strong within ourselves. And that's by connecting to the higher self, the God part of self, the deity part of self. That's the all knowing part of self, that no matter what, you have discernment, but you have to train your body and mind. So that should be your first thing, creating a daily practice, one where you know, do your little somatic healing, and you go on the internet. Maybe you have a drink that alkalines your blood, which you need to, because you can't grow up in that environment and think that you have an alkaline blood. You don't. You have an acidic constitution from living in survival mode. So you're going to see allergies, you're going to see what cramps with period, you're going to see like problems that other people don't have. And so it's, again, you want to recondition your nervous system, and because that's going to stop the dumping of cortisol from, again, I don't trust myself. So every time I got to go into a new situation, I get nervous, and it creates a very acidity constitution. You have to maintain your body by counteracting it with like the ginger and turmeric, like, or apple cider vinegar, like, or lemon water in the morning, something. You need to alkalinize it. It's going to cut the brain fog. Then you want to be able to, like I said, train your nervous system by doing that breath work, that yoga. But so you really get a good connection. Do the Silva Ultramind method. It gets you down to the delta frequency, so you can recondition your mind to not be reactive. Understand that's a habit. And over time, and listen, it doesn't take long. Be like, oh, it's going to take forever. First of all, you begin to see results right away. That's number one. And that makes you want to do more. Second of all, it's you get relationships before you're fully healed. No one's ever fully healed. First of all, we'd be dead, or not here. And so you begin, like I said, to see results. So that's the whole thing. Just the way that you respond to your life is different. So you're getting a completely different outcome because you are different. So, and you take small baby steps. Remember, it's but it's through playing, through becoming yourself, because that's how children, go out, they play. They don't say, oh, look, that's the cardboard box. I can't use that. That's garbage. No, they say, I'm going to use that cardboard box. I'm going to drag it for about 12 blocks to the back to my backyard, and I'm going to get all my friends, and we're going to make it into a clubhouse. We're going to make it into, and we all lived in that box until it rained. And then we went out and we searched for another box, but on the way we got sidetracked and we wound up. It's, again, meaning you don't have any expectation of how things go. You're just being asked to go out and find things that resonate with you to play, but you'll have anxiety from that. And Spirit says, see, you're being asked to have fun. And it's like, fun? I don't have time for that shit. Fun? And Spirit says you need to. Otherwise, you're neglecting yourself. Passion. Where's your passion for life? It's, again, and it can't be a person. It has to be, what's your contribution? What is, again, like, that's what's going to raise your energy so you can attract somebody. Understand that. Spirit says, otherwise it doesn't. You'll never be able to transmute the rage, the anger, the resentment, because really that's what's underneath all that. It's like, because you can be like, well, like, my life isn't working still, and I can't forgive because it's like, I can't get love. It's like, if this is why this happened. And that's the reptilian mind that says, well, someone's got to be at blame for it. So it's you. It's fucking you. Yep. And it was because this happened, where the mind is just going to do that. So really, Spirit says, look at it from a spiritual perspective, which is everything is put into place to help you evolve. There's a bigger reason to why you're here. And it's just to be the expression of love. So you can transcend the limitations of your mind, to realize that there's no separation between you and your creator, that there's no separation between you and love, you and God, you and the universe, that you're loved beyond measure. That's where your block is. And you're like, no, because I grew up here. And Spirit says, yeah, but there's a whole, like, universe here of people like that, that you're not even around those people. And then when they're dead, they'll still be able to affect you, is what Spirit says. Get into, again, your hobbies, interests, do something else, is what Spirit's saying. Spirit says, you think that I don't know what you want. I know who you are and what you want more than you know. Spirit says, I know. Trust me. So just utilize what you have, and when you're ready, because you need to transmute this rage. Otherwise, you're going to be a magnet to not nice people. where you're like, it's very unfair and unbalanced, and they don't care about my feelings, and they don't care. So you're reliving the same karmic theme. And Spirit says that's the issue. It's like, yeah, I see you. I see you. And that's why Spirit's saying, no, like that doesn't work. No, you're not going to feel the love and connection. You won't feel it until you get into your body and you begin to do other things. Otherwise, at this point, you're going to feel like further and further and further and further and further and further away from that. And that's because you're disconnected, because your survival mechanism was to be disassociated from, what was happening. So if you can't eventually figure it out, it just, you burn out. So that's why Spirit says, get back in your body, hit the pavement. It's like, that's why that feeling is like you're bringing yourself back there. So you have to transmute that energy, like you said, because your body remembers all of that. And that's the problem. So we have to say again, what can you do then? Like, what are you supposed to be doing instead of this? To actually transcend the limitations of your mind, what can we do to make that happen? Well, first of all, you learned. Okay, so you learned is what Spirit says, like when you go through these experiences, and you have to apply that wisdom, and obviously you have to take a leap of faith in any direction. Take a bold step, even if the path is not fully visible. Risks are rewarding. Spirit says, do something. Understand like you're an empowered soul. Acknowledge what you have already overcome in your life, and that, you have gifts, that you're strong, that you're not weak. You perceive yourself as weak. So it's changing your perception, because there are brighter horizons. Is what Spirit is saying. It's like that's really. But if you want to know, really, at this time, I feel like it's to just really create that inner sanctuary, which is that stronger connection to Spirit. Heal yourself. And you heal yourself by doing everything that I had mentioned. But then also, because it's going to help you see a different narrative of yourself, which is what you need, because it's an illusion. It's not real. It's not, you think that it's real, but it's not real. It's that you've lived it. Spirit says you need to do these things in order to transform. The fear is, I can't be loved. The fear is, I don't believe it. And Spirit says, again, it's going to be a faith wall. You can't go backwards. You've just become too enclosed. Once you go out and volunteer, once you go out and join things, over time, you'll open up. The focus is on what you're doing. So it's like if you're doing pottery or at a painting class, whatever the hell you're doing, wine tasting, I don't care what the hell it is. It's like you're going to meet people, and they're going to see you for who you are today. You can come across a little bit quiet, but again, focus on what you're doing, where you are. Oh, this wine is a nice wine. Again, you show your knowledge. Again, conversations are started that way. Trust is started that way. Then the following week, you see the same people and they recognize you too. And then one day you go back and you're all locked out. The teacher's late. Well, wouldn't you know it? Someone says, hey, you want to grab a cup of coffee with me? They act like they've known you for years because you show up every Tuesday. You were like, sure, I'll go for the cup of coffee. And you get to know the person a little bit. It happens organically. Spirit says, I know what you need, but you don't invest anything in yourself. So nothing's going to change until you do these things, which it sounds crazy because all it really is that you need to go out and have fun. There's not enough of a new life, of emotional fulfilling. You always did what you had to do. You were a parent before you got to be a child. So Spirit says that is. So you might say, well, I don't really even like to be like a child. Spirit says, well, you need to do these things for yourself. So this is where you would start. And then that's how you would meet other people. And then your desires to learn new things and try new things will come because, hey, every week I do my yoga with Sarah, and Sarah goes on all these different things and whatever. So one day she invited me, and now I like to do drumming also. And now I never thought that I would like that, but this is how I wound up here. So Spirit's saying a world will open up. A path will be made just for you. A way will be made just for you, but not unless you begin to do those things. All right. So I know that that was super long again because we're down to 5 people that are on. But I always like to make sure that people understand, especially when you've been raised by a narcissist, alcoholic parent. Like you really have to recondition your mind. It's important. Otherwise, your fear will come true, and it doesn't need to. Divine light. No, again, this is what Spirit says that you need to do. Know that you are an expression of love and shine like the sun. Your inner light is your strength and your treasure. Your intuition guides you to discover the wonder and the goodness of who you are. And that comes again through creating new experiences, meeting new people. Otherwise, you can't do it. And that's why it's not, you're waiting for it to happen to you. And Spirit says, no, 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 no. You're not going to wait for anything to happen to you. You got to go out and make it happen. You don't ask for greatness. You go get up and you take it. You say, thank you very much. I am entitled to this because it's my spiritual sovereignty. And Spirit says, that's your right. Again, because I'm inside of you as a gift of Spirit. So you can become anything and do anything. So you have to fake it till you make it and embody new things, and it will come. And understand it does start off in a place where you have to start in faith because you're like, I have no idea what this is going to look like. And Spirit says, that's okay. Fake it till you make it. It'll happen. Faith is a bridge that connects you to what you sow, to what is going to be reaped. So make sure that you, again, put out the energy. All right. I'm going to leave that there for you. I hope that you got it. And whoever needed to hear this message, I know it was a long one, but when you grow up with an alcoholic, narcissist parent, there's going to be things that you need to heal because you were conditioned in an environment to perceive certain things about yourself. And one of those things is, I can't have love. I'm not deserving of love. And Spirit just wants to remind you one last time that that's impossible because you're made up of love. So you're supposed to become the expression of love by doing what you love, and then you will attract love. And so we start where you are, which is just having fun. Okay? That's what you have to do. You're welcome. I just want you to go out and make it happen, and it'll happen because, again, you're loved. You're not here by mistake. You're here by God's grand design. You're a part of the design. And we're all down here trying to remember what we're supposed to be doing. And that's what it is. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining me this morning. Bye-bye.